And Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yes. So you can print out your own copy if you want to, but if you want multiple copies, we'll be happy to provide it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Very good, but where's part 2?
Part 2, coming soon. There's an old saying, don't give people more than they can chew on at one time. If I can get the media and get the president to chew on this and do something with it, we will be way ahead of the game. But I will give you a hint about what part 2 is going to be about that will continue this economic growth. Regulatory reform. Regulatory reform. That's totally separate from these changes that's going to boost growth, give business people, give that engine the kind of fuel that they need. But at the same time that we are boosting the economic growth by providing fuel for the business sector, we've got to reduce the regulatory burden that this administration is just throwing at businesses in an absolutely awful way, that's shutting things down. So that's what part 2 is going to focus.
That's going to be powerful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Cain, is your willingness to run a campaign without debt indicative of how you would govern the country?
Absolutely. It absolutely is how I would run the country. It's going to take me a while to get us back into that position. But the way we're going to get to the point where we spend within our means is make sure we have a supercharged economy such that more revenue is coming in because more people are going to be working, business people are going to want to expand. We're going to make these permanent so they won't wonder what are the tax rates are going to be. At the same time, I'm putting together an aggressive plan for how we're going to reduce that debt. And it starts with reducing the national debt, and it starts with making some major cuts in Washington, D.C. So it is exactly indicative of how I plan to run the country as president. That's what I had to do as a businessman for 40 years. I didn't have the luxury of running a business and then run to Uncle Sam whenever I spent too much money. No. You had to basically spend within your means. So this is exactly how I plan to run the government. Yes, sir.
Mr. Cain, I watched the debates, and so many of the people that might see you for the very first time are only going to see you in the debates because they don't watch Fox News necessarily.
Right.
But the media asks these ridiculous, non-issues-oriented questions in the debates, and I don't feel like you necessarily get a chance to say some of the wonderful things I've heard you say in speeches.
Right.
What can you do, perhaps maybe even ignoring the media questions and just launching forward with some of your points in bulletins like this?
I did that a couple of times in that last debate. The technical term is redirect. Mr. Cain, is the sun up or is the sun down? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. You redirect, okay, to get your message across. But what I try to do is at least make a couple of comments about what they ask, and then move on to what I really want to present. So that's a very good question. But here's some of the things that we're doing. First, we have leveraged the power of the internet more and better than any other candidate. We actually measure that. We have metrics on that. So that's the other thing that we're doing in order to get my message out. Secondly, I have probably spoken at more tea parties, rallies, town hall meetings than any other candidate, because I started speaking at events and coming to events like this last August. So we're getting it out the old-fashioned way, going to states and neighborhoods, etc. The other thing that I'm doing is that we are not just spending all of our time in the early states. There are some other states that usually don't get any attention, and that helps to increase my name ID, because when they do a national poll, they don't just do a few states, they do the whole country. So we have a very deliberate plan in order to do that. The other thing that we do is we maximize the opportunities to be on, now they call it earned media. What that means is you earned your way on by either doing something great or you killed somebody. I don't want to earn my way on by killing somebody or doing something bad. But they call it earned media. I call it free advertising. When you have a good plan, or you have a good idea, or you have a perspective on something, and they want to put you on TV to share it with the audience. So we maximize earned media, as part of our strategy. Here's how that works as an example. Earlier today, as an example, I was finishing the recording of my new book. By the way, in case you all didn't know, I have a new book coming out October 1st. You can already pre-order on Amazon.com. The name of the book, are you all ready for this? This is Herman Cain. That's it. Because a lot of people don't know who I am. So the book is about me. It introduces me to people who don't know me. It's not just a straight biographical book. It also brings out my personality. Remember the other night on the debate when I was asked this question about the moat and the alligators and the fence? My response, you know, America has to learn how to take a joke. Because I have a sense of humor. This country has a sense of humor. We don't need to be depressed on every turn. Yes, we have a lot of problems, but we still have a lot of great benefits living here in this country. We just need to solve some of the problems that we have, but recognize all of the great benefits that we have. So this morning I had to finish up the audio recording of my book that's going to be coming out October 1st. But as I said, you can pre-order online. Remember, Christmas is coming. And then I rushed to the airport. We flew in on a charter plane. We don't normally fly charter. I usually fly commercial. But when the schedule is tight, and I knew I wanted to be here for this grand opening, and we've got some events tomorrow, we flew in on charter. As soon as we land, Nathan is on the phone talking to the producer for Neil Cavuto. They wanted me on live in order to be able to talk about the solution that we've developed. It was literally this close, folks. We walked off the plane at 5 minutes to 4. We were in the SUV at 4 o'clock. At 4:17, we were walking in the studio, and at 4:20, Neil goes, well, this candidate has a plan and an idea. So here we are, with all of this stress, all of this rushing. I literally jumped out of the SUV, ran inside, the lady put the microphone on, and next thing I know, he's talking to me, so I'm rushing, I'm puffing because I'm rushing, and all of a sudden the camera's on me, and I go, hello, Neil. You know that old joke about when you see a duck in water, the feet are going like this, the duck is just cruising across, but then the duck's feet are just paddling like crazy, you know. So when he came on, I just had to appear as if I had been sitting there all day. But this was one of those opportunities we didn't want to miss. It would have been easy to say, well, we're not going to make it. No, we hustle when we have to. We hustle when we have to take advantage of those, because he's got about 2 million eyeballs watching that show every day. I don't want to miss those eyeballs. So those are some of the things that we're doing. Also, I write a weekly commentary. And my weekly commentary appears on our website, hermancain.com. It also is published on WorldNet Daily under their columnist, Daily Caller. They also carry it. And there are a couple of others that carry my commentary, because many of them have different audiences. So that's the other way that I'm reaching the people out there that don't know.